I've seen so many memes of people saying if she doesn't text you back, it's time to put the rent on black. Yeah, that's not just a meme anymore. And if you're a part of Gen Z, there's a solid chance you've now lost that rent. Because most people think that they're up because they remember like 1 or 2 big wins, but the numbers tell a completely different story. And there's a full-on generational farming operation going on here. There's been a massive targeted push to get our age group onto these apps, and they knew what they were doing when they made this legal in 2018. They know that our generation loves their quick dopamine hits, easy access, and the convenience of being able to just press a button on your phone and gamble. So I'm not gonna lie, they were cooking with this. But what's also cooked is the actual math behind this. It's roughly a 95% chance that you're going to lose money over time, and on top of that, you have a real risk of becoming a gambling addict and just frying your dopamine receptors. And dog, in today's economy, we need every advantage we can get, and this is not helping that. Literally only a tiny fraction, maybe 3 to 5%, are actually going to make profit. And the trap is that everyone believes they're going to be that 3 to 5% and chasing that dopamine rush that comes with it. But I'm going to tell you right now, Kendall Jenner is not telling you that from her private jet while she encourages us to gamble. And the fact we have rich people telling us to gamble shows me that this isn't a few degens anymore doing this. Like, this is a full generational shift. Reports show that over a third of Gen Z has tried sports betting, and most of that happened through their phones. This has gone beyond just a Vegas weekend hobby. Like, sports books and casino apps are just now part of the entertainment package. Like, being a fan for most people now basically includes betting, and around 70% of people say that they're doing it for entertainment or social reasons, which are exactly the 2 things that shouldn't be turning us into broke gambling addicts. And we see this shit everywhere now. DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, like, you name it. Social media, every NBA and NFL game, every ad break. And it's not like the average person doing this is rich or has a lot of money to burn. A lot of them are already stretched, and around 1 in 4 sports bettors have missed bill payments because of it. Meanwhile, some rich bozo gets a fat check for telling you that this is just fun and easy money. And that's why you see guys like Tom Brady promoting MGM during the Super Bowl. I doubt he's doing that out of the love for sports betting. He already has more money than he can spend, but I guess the bag is just too easy to say no to. But it's like, dog, what more do you need at that point? Like, goddamn. And it's not like they're just targeting us in our 20s, they're targeting literal children. You've got influencers and streamers who know exactly who their audience is and still happily pushing this stuff. And like, we know what ages are watching these streamers, and the companies do too, which makes this all that worse. Like, imagine going into adulthood and your dopamine's already fried and you're putting your rent on black. That is a reality for some people right now. And these companies are completely cool with turning children into little gambling soldiers. Flying cars in 2026, they said. No, not at all. Your phone is now a casino. But honestly, I'm not really shocked. They were training us 10 years ago when they started putting loot boxes on Call of Duty. I also had friends that were addicted to CSGO loot boxes. I even remember YouTubers being in scandals for that shit, scamming little children off it. So I almost think this shit was a goddamn inside job. They were training us for this. But let me just make this real in today's terms. If 100 of us started using a betting app right now, the math says that a year from now, maybe 3 to 5 of us would be up money. The other 95 would be quietly drained and possibly have fried their dopamine receptors. And here's the delusion behind that. Every single person placing a bet thinks that they're going to be one of those 3 who wins, and statistically you're almost certainly not. I personally have never really gambled aside from CSGO boxes a few times, and the only other time I was ripping slot machines at this bar literally 2 days before I got clean, which at the time I knew I was going to get shipped out of state and was going to get clean, so I figured why the hell not. I remember being out with my family for this little like reunion function, and I saw my brother and some of the fam ripping the slots, and I was like, all right, I just decided to join them. I already had some money that I was willing to lose, and again, I was already about to leave the state, so I just didn't really care at that point. I didn't mind losing the money, and I honestly didn't really like care for it. But my philosophy at the time was, why would I risk my drug money on a slot machine or betting? That sounded like an absolute nightmare to me. So one could argue that I've gambled plenty of times, but with my life instead of money, because I chased that same dopamine rush that you'd get from parlays, only I was doing it with pills. And neurologically, these are both really similar, which I've learned from my studies of working in addiction treatment. And it's just crazy to me what the mind is capable of, and the fact that these companies use social media and influencers to essentially farm XP from young men and literal children. And this is how they're getting us in the door. Like, the marketing is aimed directly at Gen Z, using voices that people trust, like top athletes, ex-players, comedians, rappers, streamers, like and they're all reading the same script.
Use my code and get a risk-free bet. Sign up now.
And something to consider for a lot of these mid-tier creators promoting this might be the first real money they've ever made. And when a gambling sponsor is paying your rent, you're not about to turn to your audience and be like, hey, by the way, 95% of you are probably going to lose this money. It's just a recruitment pipeline, and the app doesn't need you to go all in on day one. That's not the point. They just need you in the system, because once you're signed up, the push notifications and special bonus offers will take care of the rest. And that's how we get cooked and caught in the dopamine trap. And this works so well on our generation because we grew up trusting individual creators more than faceless companies. You also got the aspect that this is very common among friend groups, so you hanging out with 4 gamblers, you're gonna be the 5th one. And it's easy to fall into those traps just because your friend's doing it. Like, your boys are like, oh yeah, let's hit this parlay. Now next thing you know, you're a freaking gambling addict. And not only that, but we're going out way less, and some people have not replaced that dopamine they got from drinking or whatever it might be with anything healthy. And they're aware that young men are rotting at home right now and still might be looking for that dopamine rush. So they know they can have your ass sitting in bed at 2 a.m. potentially betting away your hard-earned money that was originally for your bills that month. You've essentially given rich people more money, you now have less money, and now you're less fulfilled than you were before. And because of that, you might turn around and just give them more money. And it's really nothing more than just a dopamine trap disguised as pretty looking betting apps. You know, I feel like our brains have this dopamine quota that needs to be filled, and the means of how we fill it is up to us. Like, you can fill it with delayed gratification, or the feeling you get after working out, or when you accomplish a goal or a task. Like, that's a meaningful way of filling that quota. Even just a slice of pizza or a bowl of ice cream is a way to fill it short term. The problem here is that when we indulge in addictive activities like gambling, or for me, drugs and women, that quota just never gets filled properly. And there's never a moment where we say, oh, I'm good now, like I'm done, that was enough, I feel satisfied. Like, no, the bar continues to raise, and that quota ultimately gets fried and doesn't have an endpoint anymore. And that's where it gets really dangerous for people who gamble and chase that endless dopamine, because there is real consequences behind this. And again, these companies fully understand this and do not care about your well-being. You think they're giving out free bets and having your favorite YouTuber promote it out of the kindness of their hearts? Like, no, they understand that our brains are not wired for this shit. And honestly, they look at us like we're an easy target. Like Kendall Jenner sitting on a private jet telling us to gamble. That is nasty work right there. And listen, I'm not here to judge anyone, and people are going to do what they're going to do. And some just have to hit their head a few times to learn. And I sure as hell did plenty of times with my addiction and the terrible choices I used to make. Trust me. But that's actually why I'm calling this out and trying to spread awareness. Because I remember what it was like chasing endless dopamine and the destructive bullshit that came with it. And it makes me sick to my stomach that these predatory, grimy ass companies are playing into this and targeting our generation, using rich celebrities to drain bank accounts of kids who are already struggling to survive in this economy. People are already struggling enough, and there's just no reason to keep smacking our generation around. The only reason on their end is just to make their pockets fatter, because I guess already having millions of dollars and being able to do whatever you want just isn't enough. Sounds like to me they're caught in the same dopamine trap that they're trying to push onto us. I think just not picking up this habit and being able to see through this is the most important part here. And look, if you do this, you can try to beat the math. You can tell yourself that you're the 3% who knows ball better than the guys with literal PhDs at DraftKings. But just understand what you're walking into. This isn't a game. They are farming XP from you. And they have the algorithms. They have the unlimited bankroll. They may even have your favorite YouTuber on their payroll. The entire machine is built to turn your attention into their revenue. And like I've said, I've made plenty of bad decisions in my life. I've chased plenty of dopamine ghosts. But I refuse to let an app on my phone farm me for XP. This is not going to happen. We're already fighting an uphill battle in this economy. Don't hand them your ammo. Because to be honest, life is peak without gambling. Life is peak in general. Someone commented on the last video and it made me think, yeah, he's right. So shout out to Poopy Stick. Chances are me and you got a lot going for ourselves and a lot more to lose, and I'm not trying to turn this into some philosophical bullshit here at the end or some motivational shit. I just want this to be a place where we can encourage each other to do better. I ain't trying to see our generation go out bad. So stay free, and as always, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Peace out.